All right. So the first suspect is up in court right now in the shooting for Julio Foolio. Is she cooked? We're going to look at some of the evidence. We're going to look at some of the defense. Oh, man, we got a bunch of footage to look over. This whole narrative about her smiling in court as well. I got a take about that. Good, bad, reach, not a reach. We're going to see. But before we get there, shout out to everybody coming into the chat. Shout out to the members. Shout out to the mods. Shout out to everybody on the way in. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Thursday. We got a bunch of news to go over, so let's get walking. Up first, Kevin McCall, you back up just that fast from yesterday, huh? Kevin McCall admits to blowing an $8 million fortune in resurfaced video.
Singer songwriter Kevin McCall, and I blew the hell out of that.
I want to build and close up your body like a banana.
Chris Brown called me and like, look, this song is doing real good. We about to do a video. I only got a check for $10,000 at that time. Spent that up in no day. Tried to get a whip, some dumb shit. But when I finally got a check for Deuces that was over 6 figures, I opened that mug up. It was like, I ain't never seen nothing over $10,000 in my life. So when I saw 100 and something thousand, I'm like, I looked at my cousin, I just closed it. I got scared. I didn't even get happy. I'm like, well, I'm going to put this shit. Didn't know what to do with it. Didn't know where to start. The most I had ever paid for rent at the time was like $300. It took me almost losing my family to realize, okay, something's not right. I had a 4-bedroom house in Woodland Hills, and my child's mom had to pay the rent. I'm thinking I'm broke, not knowing I got checks coming from here, here, on this tax ID number, all these things that I'm more familiar with now. And if I knew them then, I probably could have saved my family, but I knew I blew the bag when I'm singer-songwriter Kevin McCall.
I got an EBT.
Blew the bag. $8 million. $8 million to a lot of people is considered not even just one generation of money. Now you could blow it and you could fuck that up. Don't get it twisted. But there's so many people that just work regular 9 to 5 jobs. Let's say you make $100,000 a year, right? Now you chop that all down based on your taxes, your insurance, your responsibilities. Do you have a rent? Do you have a mortgage? Do you have kids? God forbid you want to take a little vacation or treat yourself to one or two things. Do you have a car? Do you have a phone? Do you have bills? Do you have your lights on, your heat, your gas, all of this shit? That $100,000, especially in today's economy, that shit gets chopped down something crazy. But if you have $8 million, if I gave a lot of y'all $8 million right now, many of y'all could set yourselves up, your kids up, and shit, depending on the moves you make, maybe even your kids, like smart investments that work out. Definitely, at least you and the next generation after you, meaning that your children. 100%, $8 million still goes a long way in this world. Just because we begin turned out by these music videos and these rappers allegedly looking like they spending all this outlandish money, don't act like $8 million is a drop in the bucket. So if you blew $8 million, boy, was we not on point with yesterday's take. And speaking about yesterday's take, hey, Young Thug, I mean, if you would maybe just watch the podcast before you tweet, we'll get you ahead of the curve a little bit. Look at Young Thug shit. Looks like Kevin McCall won't be getting that 25,000 from Young Thug after all. So he tweets, sorry, Mac, LOL. I ain't know all this was happening, kid. What did I say yesterday? I said, yo, Young Thug, just stay out of this. Because all you got to do is just a tiny bit of due diligence to see the history between Chris Brown and this guy, Kevin McCall. We don't have the contracts between those two guys in front of us, but there was a lot, 16 years plus. So if you go over the details that we went over yesterday, it's very, very hard to feel sympathetic towards this guy. Now talking about at the age 40, he's swiping an EBT card. Or just tell me for the sake of the show that you were capping about the 8 million. Pick one. All right, let's move on. We got Diddy next. What's going on with Diddy? You see these reports that were going around, these headlines yesterday? Diddy throat nearly slit in prison? All right. One of Diddy's close friends is speaking now about a terrifying moment. The mogul woke up in prison with a knife pressed to his throat. What's the setup in there? Is it like an open bunk layout? Is it private cells? Was this his bunkie? The fuck? Like, all right. Carlucci Finney says the attack went down during one of the nights Diddy was sleeping at MDC Brooklyn, an incident that first came to light during Diddy's sentencing. Sources familiar with the situation have confirmed its authenticity to us. How did you do that? Finney told Daily Mail his friend woke up with a weapon to his neck, just seconds away from a serious harm or death. He says he doesn't know if the guards came to break it up or if Diddy fought the guy off. Well, if you don't have those details, how do you have the knife to his throat details? But anyway, sources familiar with the situation confirmed the details for TMZ. Finney imagines the inmate's intent was to intimidate Diddy, particularly in a notorious facility like MDC Brooklyn. He added prison just isn't a safe place for anyone convicted in a case related to sex, and he's worried about Diddy's safety. Okay. Diddy's lawyer Brian Steele first mentioned this incident during the sentencing hearing, telling the judge it was a guard who stopped the swift wielding inmate. As you know, Diddy was sentenced to 50 months in a federal prison after a jury convicted him on 2 counts of violating the Mann Act. He was acquitted on more serious charges, for example, the RICO stuff and sex trafficking, racketeering, etc. Okay. It's tough for me to say which route to go on this one. Reason being is like if indeed it did happen, of course I want to be respectful. There's one thing that was stated in there as well. It's a shitty place, right? So that same knife could be at anybody's neck, not just Diddy, but Diddy's a profile inmate. He's a celebrity, so it gets headlines, right? Nobody wants to be there. If you're there, especially for certain crimes, sex, kids, R-ing people, all that type of stuff. Yes, you might get pressed just a little bit more than other inmates. And then when you got the profile of him, it's just the timing of it, for it to come out at sentencing to me, I think that's a little convenient. Not saying that it didn't happen, just seems a little convenient. No different than saying, hey, by the way, he's got shows booked and speaking engagements booked next week in Miami. His lawyer's lawyering, because why didn't this come out before sentencing? Why does it come out at sentencing as like something to throw into the pot? And then after sentencing, what did we start hearing about? We started hearing about them pressing for which prison they wanted him to serve his time in, right? So I think I think it's a mixed bag for me. At one point I could say, shit, it's prison. I could expect to hear a story like that any night of the week. But on the other side, I feel like, is this just another tactical move of Diddy's lawyers lawyering, trying to get him these good, whether you're trying to get him out, whether you're trying to choose what prison you want to put in, whether you're trying to make a case for him being freed, whether you're trying to say that his stature in there is getting a little bit more targeted, that he actually deserves based on what he was actually convicted of, all of the above. All right. I'm taking this with a grain of salt. I ain't just jumping out the window. Did you hear the news? They almost killed Diddy. I ain't doing that. All right. But I wish the guy health in there. Okay. I ain't praying for nobody to get their throat cut while they're in there. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they're only convicted for Mann Acts. Now, I'm not saying that that's a great thing to be convicted of. I'm just saying it's not nothing to wish no damn death over people. Speaking of prison life, I saw this, and I'll tell you the joke behind this in a second. And I don't think that is a laughing matter. You just got to bear with me, people. Is that a contradiction? Slightly.
Mr. Williams, you can do me a favor, get a shirt on real quick. Sergeant Airwood's going to take you to the medical wing, okay? So if you can get a shirt on real quick, Sergeant Airwood's going to take you to the medical wing, okay? You went last night? I guess it's better safe than sorry. They're going to check you out again.
So when did this happen?
It went last night.
No.
The situation?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
When? Like here or over there?
Over there.
Okay. So has anyone spoken with you about what happened?
No.
So what's going on with your leg?
I don't know. I think I probably just like sprung my ankle or something.
During the incident from...
Yeah.
So what?
I had on a leg right here. And one of the officers kind of like like just pick me up and slam me, and then the other officer grabbed the leg irons and like pulled it over his shoulder, like drug me out.
And this was at Fulton County? Was it?
It was kind of officer.
It was Cobb deputies? Okay. Do you remember which ones?
They sergeants.
Okay.
Mr. Williams, you can do me a favor.
The joke is some people's gonna watch this and say, "There he goes talking too much again." Where it happened? The incident? Yeah, somebody, the officer picked me up, slam. People, me too, man. God bless us all to stay away from jail and prison, man. You don't even want to be in the situation to have to go through this type of scrutiny, let alone the life of being behind bars. But with all this talk around Young Thug in 2025, man, I'm just saying a clip like this to come out, and you want to hear another one. Another one is what was it on Little Baby's album? It was Thug, Lil Baby, and Future. And if I remember correctly, it was the first time that we heard Thug after his release, his verse. Now I remember leading up to everybody's verse on that song, everybody had like a little shit talking moment, right? What was Thug's shit talking moment? Yeah, I didn't even feel like I was in there. I was in there having my way. I was in there with my feet up. Right? And then they got you on camera looking like you're in a walker, limping down the hallway, talking about you got slammed or body slammed or whatever. Yo, the situation isn't funny. It's just the perception and then the contradictions that come with footage is what's making me laugh, people. Like, you just can't make this shit up. Shout out to Thug. Respectfully, real talk. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's keep walking this shit down. Jones, you up, G? Shout out to Jim Jones, man. When Jim Jones tells us he knows how to stay in the algorithm, he knows how to stay relevant, he knows how to stay in the headlines. Boy, he ain't lying, is he? Whether he's sitting on some couch doing a show and he leans up, acting like he's just adjusting his posture and the money falls out of his pocket, like, really? Whether he's going back and forth with Cam, whether he's chiming in on other people's shit or his podcast now with Dave East, Fab, and Mano, like, he knows how to stay active. You got to give that to him, man. He's a natural hustler, and he's been in the industry pulling money out of that bitch for over 20 plus years. I could never, ever take that from Jim. But this one right here caught me off guard. I ain't gonna lie.
Recently, it was reported that Cameron will be collaborating with 50 Cent on Paid in Full. You and 50 are competitors. What would you expect to see with a Cameron and 50 Cent collaboration?
I don't know what to expect to see from them two suckers. I wouldn't care what they expect to see from them. I wish them the best. Just stay out my way, please.
That's all?
That's it.
Recently,
I don't know, man. Is Mel Matrix back home? Is that it? Or is it just Jim being out? Every time we've heard Cam and Jim address each other recently, they ask Cam, for example, what do you think about a reconciliation with people like Jim? They give a very politically correct answer. I mean, listen, I'll never say never, but right now, not the time, they doing them, I'm doing whatever. And, I wish everybody the best. And Jim recently gave a similar reaction to that. Like, what makes him turn around and go to that next level of calling niggas suckers? I don't know nothing about them suckers. Like, that's pretty aggressive. They call them suckers like that. I mean, the thing with him and 50, yeah, they've had their back and forth. It just seemed like him and Cam. I didn't see anything from Cam that was like that level of disrespect towards Jim lately. I just haven't seen it. Maybe I missed it. But damn, Jim, a sucker? It is what it is, man. I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much would I bet on some type of Cameron and Jim Jones reunion? I'll give you a small little analogy here, something that I always believed, even in battle rap, and I've seen it in life. When people aren't on the same accord, when people don't really like each other, and or when people feel scarred by the other person, you see them come together more times than often out of necessity. Out of necessity. For example, we're both, at this point in our careers where we can help each other. You got one person that's up and one person that's down. The person that's up, he got no interest on working with the other person. You got one person that's up, the other person that's up. They both doing their own thing. They don't give a fuck. You get shit like this. Fuck them suckers. Jim is doing okay for himself, I believe, right? You got both people that's down or both people that's declining. That's an issue. Cam he's making more money possibly within this time period of the last couple years than I think he's made for a majority of his music shit or a big piece of it. I think he's doing very, very well for himself. And Jim is on his hustle. I think he's doing good. But damn, like, you're not going to see people like that have this type of energy unless we need each other. All right. It's almost like a birds of a feather flock together on a type of success of where we are within our careers type of shit. But scale of 1 to 10, ARP, do you see them collaborating within the next 24 months? I'll give it a 2. And even if somebody brings a tour to them, hey, we got this big ass bag for a tour. Well, shit. Even when they were on decent terms the last time that came about, it was for the verses, right? And they almost didn't make that happen. Cam was like, I'm about to be over here. I got this $1 million situation on the table, whatever. And Jim is like, yo, this is like a bucket list thing for me to go into Madison Square Garden and do this show and come on, killer, come on. And then they worked out a type of deal that made Cam comfortable, supposedly between him and Tim and Swizz. And then that got exposed later on as far as them having differences about it. And Cam talked like, nigga, I didn't even want to do it. And then when y'all convinced me to do it, I went back and negotiated with them. I got y'all a bag. But the way I situated my shit, I want features. I want percentage. I want some of the door. I want my general bag. And Jim was like, nigga, I didn't know about none of that. But Cam kind of justified it. And y'all wasn't really rocking with each other like that too tough at that time anyway. So they couldn't even get that right, let alone coming together now while they're calling each other suckers. Good luck. I give it a 2 out of 10. All right, let's keep moving. What are we like 3, 4 in already within 17 minutes? Yeah, we walking shit down this morning. I like the pace. I like the pace of this. Y'all drop in the chat or y'all drop in the comments by the time y'all see this stream if y'all fucking with the pace. If y'all want to be able to pull up to the Sorry Shoe podcast in the morning, just bing, 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 bing. Give me my news. Give me my news, ARP. Let's move. Give me my news. Don't be so long-winded. We know when you got to stop and talk your shit, but other than that, let's move. I got y'all. All right. Sauce Walker, U.S. Marshals arrest murder suspect in Say So Peace Lane. Y'all forgot about this one, huh? It was definitely big news when it happened. Remember, Sauce Walker during that incident got hit in the leg as well. But U.S. Marshals have arrested a suspect in the March. Yeah, it was all the way back in March 2025 shooting in Memphis that snatched the life of rapper Say So P and left him and his mentor Sauce Walker injured with gunshot wounds. Yeah, remember he put the pictures up and all types of stuff. On Tuesday, authorities announced they participated in a joint operation to apprehend 23-year-old Kevin KJ Brown and charged him with first-degree murder, 2 counts of felony criminal attempt, 2 counts of employing a firearm during a commission of a dangerous felony, and theft of property. I think actual footage up here again. Yeah. How did that person over to the left fall? Hold on, go back. What is that? What is that? What's up with this person right here? He ain't involved. Look, he just fell, and what the fuck happened to him? I mean, I think we saw this back when it happened. I think we took a look at this. I remember us breaking it down, but damn, scary. Yeah, this guy right here to the left is killing me. Look at the guy to the left. He just falls. Not a laughing matter. You know what that shit makes me think about, y'all? You know that it's like the stereotype of the white girl in a horror movie. It's like no matter what they're gonna fall. It makes me think of a real life situation. I'm gonna tell y'all a quick story. Don't worry, we're gonna get back to the news. I got y'all. As much as I laugh about that, and it does happen in real life. It happened to me. So once upon a time, My mother was dating this guy. He was actually a detective. Not to be confused with the same detective that I mentioned was head of the household of one of my close friends back then. Um, but my mom was dating this detective, and he had a house in PA, like a little getaway crib. And every once in a while, he would take us up there. It was like a big vacation to us, but it was like in the hills and the deep mountains of PA. And when you get up there, there's no night lights like that in the streets. There's no traffic lights. There's no telephone pole lights or nothing like that. It gets super duper dark. I'm talking about dark to the point where if you're in certain places walking, you can't see your hand in front of your face, damn near. It's like, what the fuck? So anyway, he took us out away from the crib. I forget what some activity, so maybe like the shooting range or something like that. And we came back late night, and his crib is like at the top of like this dirt road. And me and my man Reem at the time, we the kids sitting in the back seat. It's my mom in the passenger, homie driving, and we younger, we little kids talking shit because they're trying to scare us about how dark it is. So we talking shit. We just like, man, this ain't about nothing. Like, so it's dark out here. So what? Y'all just talking trash or whatever. Like, it is what it is. So he stops the car in the middle of the dirt road, and he's like, there's a thing out here called Bear Watch. All right. Like there's bears out here, and everywhere you turn, you could bump into one. Y'all talking all that trash about being out here and that y'all good in the dark. It's damn near pitch black. Would y'all get out and walk the way to the crib? Now, me and my man Reem, we trying to toughen up, stick out our chest. We're like, what? This ain't shit. It ain't about shit. Let us out. We'll walk. So he said, go ahead, get the fuck out. Me and my man Reem look at each other like, you scared? No. You scared? No. All right, let's go. Yes, the Poconos. Yes, Tay Smith, you got it in the Poconos. So we get out the car, and immediately, we're watching the car take off to the point where we can't see the tail lights anymore. So they out. So me and my man, we sticking out our shit like, yo, it is what we got this. Bet we out. So we walking. It's probably like gotta be at least 15 minutes away, maybe. Because like I said, we couldn't even see the lights of the car no more. So we walking up the hill, walking up the dirt road. Reem goes, he just stops. He goes, what is that? And I say, what is what? You're not just like in the movies where you think somebody's bullshitting, right? Joking and shit. He goes, what is that? I was just like, I don't see shit. Man, you playing. Whatever. Come on, man. Try to scare me. He's like, no, for real. What the fuck is that? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then he takes off running. He just bing, just turns around and skates. So I turn around and I see him take the fuck off. Pure left me. I'm like, this nigga's still joking, B. You play too much. I turn back around. I see like a little shadow. I can't tell what the fuck it is. I pick up a rock. I throw it. It lands right by the little shadow thing that I see. And when the rock lands by like the shadow, it looks like something just lifts his head up like this. And I said, in my mind and in my heart, I said, oh, he's not lying. I turned around, bing, right? Now, the mentality in your mind of like, you don't got to outrun the pit bull. You just got to outrun the slowest person. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I kind of was thinking like, just catch up to him. Just catch up. So in doing so, now he's running down to like a lighthouse, like a little security station that's at the bottom of the road. And I try to take a shortcut to catch up to him, right? And I don't know what I hit, but the shortcut that I try to take that's like going off the road slightly, my foot caught something, and I just went shoo and came down on my back. Boom. I came down on my back. And when I came down on my back, I looked over, and whatever that shadow thing was, it was coming towards me. And I said, oh shit, I'm dead. It's over. I did follow the Discovery Channel shit just a little bit. I said, yo, this bear finna fuck me up, but they say just stay still, maybe cover your neck, try to cover your vitals. I was young enough to just do that. And there was a shock affair too. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. So I do that. Boom. I'm sitting there. And this big ass fucking, you hear it coming closer and closer. Boom, 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 boom. And then it grabs my leg. Ah! And who is it? My mother's boyfriend. And he's with my mother. And then you just hear them start cracking, dead laughing their ass up. Ah, you bitch! Y'all swore y'all was tough. That's what y'all get. I told y'all. I told you. I was like, yo. Look at the chat laughing their ass off at me. I'm just saying, I'm keeping it 1,000. Yo, I was mad for a good 30 minutes. And I didn't know who to be mad at. I was mad at how good they scared us and got me. And I was also mad at my man for taking off like that. Now, when we was back at the crib, to his defense, he was just like, nigga, I warned you. I said, yo, what is that? I said what I needed to say, and then I took off. Like, you wanted to stay there like the white girl in the movie. Like, it's a learning lesson, B. You know, remember when what was it, Cat Williams? He was like, black people, we ain't discover shit because we too scared to get close to shit. That is kind of like our stereotype, right? Cat Williams is like, what is that, a pit bull? I don't know. I ain't going close to it. Whereas other people and coaches will tell, hey, come here, buddy. Let me pet you. Like, so I wasn't on that type time. But when I threw that rock boy, that shit moved. But he was just hunched down. And the way he moved in the shadow looked like a bear. I was just like, oh my God. But anyway. All right, let's get back to the news, man. I don't know how that thought crept into my mind when I see this guy fall to the left. But my bad for throwing us off the trail, people. But yeah, so they got the suspect. Anything else here? Oh, this is what he looks like. All right, let me go back on the small screen. That's what he looks like, huh? Okay. All right. Feds have been on the hunt for Brown for months. A warrant for his arrest was issued back in March 26 in Shelby County. The U.S. Marshals Service Middle Tennessee Task Force disclosed they worked closely with the Clarksville Police Department, which provided a crucial assistance in locating Brown. SASOP is believed to be the intended target when he was gunned down near the FedEx Forum in Broad. So we're going to hear a lot more in this trial. A lot of details, maybe motive, see what else comes into play when these guys start facing the judge and the prosecutors. But damn, he was on a whim for a second. He was, but we seen people on the whim for months, sometimes years, right? And Chi Ali, he was gone, I want to say for a year plus. China Mac, but he went down south. China Mac got the fuck on. Took them a minute to catch up with China Mac. We saw that prison escapee. He was out how many months, right? They caught up with him. They say that they ended up grabbing him due to like an argument with his girlfriend or some shit. But some way, like these people don't give up behind the scenes. They want their man, especially let it be a high profile situation. They want their man. And no matter how long it takes, they are going to hunt your ass down with today's technology, research, cameras, snitches, or not even snitches, just cooperation, all types of shit. They will find you sooner or later, boy. You better get your ass into some type of Kaza Sose fucking, you know what I'm saying? Or change your face. What movie was that? Smoking Aces? Right, where dude changed all his facial features and all that, but that's like movie shit. These motherfuckers don't be having that type of resource. It's not John Wick. Motherfuckers, or you don't got 20 different passports on some Jason Bourne shit to get up and get out. Like, get out of here. Niggas be on your ass. I just dropped like 8 references that fast in a row. I hope y'all know all those references that I'm talking about, by the way. All right, let's keep it moving. Shout out to Checks and Balances on this one. When I saw this, I said, this seems pretty fucked up, B. American basketball player Jared Shaw facing life or death in Indonesia over $400 worth of THC gummies. I use cannabis as medicine for my incurable Crohn's disease. Now, I'm going to assume that that's provable. You can get your medical reports and medical history to show that you have Crohn's disease, right? Some people smoke weed even to help their symptoms for cancer radiation treatments. A lot of people will testify that weed helps them with a lot of different things, right? And conditions. But even if you take that off the table, just to think that you can possibly, in certain parts of the world, serve life or face life or death, even the death penalty for having some fucking weed gummies. That's scary as shit. We've seen this before, but look at some of the shit behind this. Look at this shit.
This is Jared Shaw from Dallas calling for help as he is being arrested in Indonesia. His face blurred by the police taking the video. The 6'10" Carter High School and then Utah State player went undrafted in 2014, but found success overseas, most recently in the Indonesian Basketball League, until his arrest in Tangerang, Indonesia, just outside Jakarta. Police there paraded him in front of the local media, made him climb onto a press conference stage and stand with his back to the audience while they detailed the charges.
What kind of shit is that? Just to put him on display like that? It's like when we look across history and we think about the public humiliation to put you on display. Did they have one in Game of Thrones where they had that woman walk naked through the city while she was getting like slapped and spit on and stoned and shit thrown on her or whatever? Of course, one of the worst, if not the worst depictions across human history is a lynching. Leaving somebody hanging there for the public to see, or how about in those medieval times, beheadings? Have the whole city congregate, bring this guy up on a stage and chop his head off, right? So this to me is modern era humiliation, to just have him standing there like that with his back to everybody. Like, what's the we talk about our government, we talk about our country a lot, and none of us want to live anywhere else. Let's be real.
Against him.
Kali ini adalah hasil dari
Police say they intercepted a package sent to him by a woman in Thailand. Delta 9 THC candies and gummies worth about $400 that they allege he planned to sell and share with other players. Strictly illegal in Indonesia. Possession alone could mean a minimum sentence of 1 year. This is or as much as life in prison. Shaw's family still lives near Carter High School. We reached them today at their home. They did not want to go on camera, but his younger brother told us they are still trying to get more information on his arrest and have been allowed to speak with him by phone. His predicament, however, is similar to that of Texas native Brittany Griner, the WNBA star arrested in Russia in 2022 for carrying medically prescribed hash oil in her luggage, held for 9 months in a Russian prison until she was exchanged for a Russian arms dealer.
They had to exchange her to get her back after 10 months, they said?
Jared Shaw.
An American basketball player possibly faces the death penalty or a lengthy prison sentence after being arrested in Indonesia on drug charges. Shaw's contract was
crazy. Around the world, people are serving extreme sentences for nonviolent cannabis offenses that pose no threat to the public safety. These punishments run counter to international human rights standards, Stephanie Shepard. Last Prisoner Project, Jared Shaw, a U.S. basketball player arrested in Indonesia over cannabis-infused gummies he claims are for medical use, now faces the possibility of life behind bars or even execution. The thing to remember there is some of us, we grow up in America under American culture, right? And you think many things that are lax to us are off the wall in other places. So we have to break some of those habits when we over there. Like Dubai. I haven't been to Dubai yet. Dubai is probably going to be a location that I hit next year, like maybe mid 2026 for the first time. But I hear things about it, like I don't know, like of course, like the way you dress, the holding of hands, sexual acts in public, or like if you kiss somebody in public. Uh, um, it's just all these little things that I hear that's just like, boy, you got to do your homework because you don't want to end up in a jail out the country. Like that's like the worst, B. Just imagine facing the death penalty for $400 worth of weed gummies. So we got to break our American habits when we go over there. You know, there's a lot of professional basketball players in the States that end up overseas playing. Stephon Marbury was one of them. Russell Westbrook possibly was going to be one this year. They offered him like 8 times what he was being offered in the NBA, you know, to go over there. There's a lot of opportunity out the country, especially for sports figures, because they love us from here. You know, if they can get a Russell Westbrook over like in a China league or something like that, they love it. They go crazy over it. But then you get over there and you realize, like, yeah, I've been eating gummies and smoking weed my whole life, and I know y'all don't really fuck with it, but shit, I just had a homie ship me this shit from Thailand. You know, a little $400 worth, so I don't have to re-up and go ask him to send me some more for the next 6 months. It possibly didn't even have to be for distribution or for sale. Right? It could have been my own. This is my little $400 stash, so I don't got to re-up that fast. And you face not just life, but death behind it. Weed. I'm in my room just catching a vibe on a gummy. Shit. That's fucked up. That is fucked up. And when it happened to Brittany Griner, she said she gave her wife a chance to divorce her after receiving a 9-year prison sentence in Russia. How could I ask her to wait? So she actually, I forgot that. She actually was sentenced to 9 years, but then they exchanged her for a Russian prisoner. I remember that was big. That's crazy. Brittany Griner revealed she wanted to take her own life more than once in a full ABC interview about Russia imprisonment. And I could assume that even the prisons over there is spookier. You see some of these people that come to America and they talk about the differences between like prisons in Russia or prisons in some of these, you know, third world countries versus like America. They think that the shit is like the Marriott over here in America, our prison systems. You know, you see video of motherfuckers walk around playing Uno and shit. You go over there, them motherfuckers is treated like slavery days sometimes, B. Respectfully. Damn. All right, we done with our flash news segment, and we 37 minutes in. I need comments, not in the chat because I'm not gonna be able to see it now because I'm about to keep walking. But I need comments on the video when this live is done. Please, if you're here live, come back, or if you're watching the replay, I need comments below. Do you fuck with this format? Do you like us waking up to y'all fresh cup of coffee and saying boom, 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 boom? I got my news updates. Cool. I see what's going on out in the world. Now I'm getting to the gym or I'm getting to work. And then, of course, the main topic comes behind that, where we sit on for a little bit longer. Do y'all fuck with that? Y'all fuck with that? I've been fuck with that this week. You know what I'm saying? But I need the comments. Let me know if y'all like, especially when I speed it up a little bit like that. Because I don't mind taking the time back for my morning either. We all got shit to do. But y'all let me know y'all feedback as always. I'm always open to constructive criticism. Doesn't mean sometimes we won't switch up things based on what's going on. I will keep y'all on y'all toes here and there. But I don't know. This feels like a real cool format for us if y'all are rocking with it. Speaking of, all right, let's get to the title. Julio Foolio shooting footage in court reaction I got for y'all. So let's come up to speed. So now that they're in court and the first suspect is facing the music, let's go to the news report first.
This Monday, right now at 6, the trial for the first of 5 suspects in the Julio Foolio murder trial in Tampa, now underway today. Alicia Andrews is accused of helping stalk and track the rapper last year in what authorities called an ambush-style shooting. Jury selection in her case began this morning, and Fox 13's Aaron Mesmer has been covering this for us. Joined us now live in our newsroom. Hi there, Aaron. I know you sat down with Andrews' attorneys prior to the trial here. What did they tell you?
Mark, they say Andrews has been honest with investigators all along. She admits she was with the group of suspects, but her attorneys say she had no part in the murder and was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Today, we're going to be picking a jury in a criminal case.
Alicia Andrews is the first of 5 suspects to go to trial who are all charged in connection with the murder of Charles Jones, a Jacksonville rapper known as Julio Foolio.
Charles Jones was shot and killed while he was seated in his car.
The judge briefed potential jurors on the basic facts of the case. Jones was in Tampa to celebrate his birthday last year. Security video shows a group of shooters opening fire on Jones's car outside a hotel near USF. Rashad Murphy, Isaiah Chance, Sean Gathright, and Andrews are accused of making the trip from Jacksonville to Tampa to kill Jones in what investigators described as an ongoing gang war.
That perception is not reality.
Andrews' attorneys recently sat down with Fox 13 to explain why they believe she's innocent.
She was here for a trip with her boyfriend. That's it, and that's all, and found herself caught up in a mix of stuff that she was unaware about completely.
That's what she told detectives who didn't believe her. They say she and her boyfriend, Isaiah Chance, acted as lookouts the night of the murder. The defense says Andrews had no idea what was about to happen.
Right, this is a case where the state tries to put her in a box and say that she is the girlfriend of one of the individuals involved, and that she would do anything that this guy tells her to do because she's so in love with him.
They just leap to the conclusion, since he was there, she must know, and it's just a faulty kind of logic.
All 5 suspects are charged with first-degree murder, but Andrews is the only one not facing the death penalty. Her lawyers say she's been honest from day one, and they think jurors will believe her.
So she has no problem telling them everything that she knows, and she did, and believing that truth will, proverbially set her free.
And the judge told jurors this trial could last up to 2 weeks, Mark. All right, Aaron Mesmer watching.
2 weeks. All right. So we're going to stay on top of this, continuing to unfold. Before we move on from there, though, I will say their lawyers are showing clear direction there. And we're going to go into even their full opening defense footage in a second. But their lawyers are definitely showing the route that they're going, which is like, I don't know nothing about these other 4 you know what I'm saying, or the shooters, allegedly. We were just there by chance. We just know some people with a girlfriend. We're here, we're hanging out, and shit just happened to go down. And then the second piece of, she's been honest since day one. She just wants to give up whatever information I want to know and then get the fuck on. That don't work. We saw that even in the Diddy arrest when he was looking for bond. Just because you're honest, they're not going to cut you no slack if they feel like they got strong evidence against you. People be thinking like, how nice I am to these motherfuckers is gonna benefit me. No, they're just gonna smile in your face, whether it's in the interrogation, whether it's in the trial. And then when it's time to hand down them sentences, not only is the judge, when he gets to his sentence, and he's gonna follow, for the most part, the guidelines, and then either give you a little bit of lax based on that, or go to the max side of the guidelines based on how he perceives you in the whole trial. Right. But it's not going to fool the jury neither, because at the end of the day, they're supposed to be walking away with, did you do it? Did you not do it? They're not going to get back into deliberation and be like, all right, listen, now all of us, do we agree? Are we all on the same page? Did she do it? Is she innocent or is she guilty? Was she a part of the setup? Was she a part of the scheme, or was she not? Everybody's supposed to come with a guilty, not guilty. It's not their job to sit back there and say, listen, I think that she actually was a part of it after we saw all this evidence come out in trial, but hey, she was honest. So I peeped the lawyer's angles there. Doesn't mean it's going to be helpful. The goal at the end of the day needs to prove with evidence and with testimony and with their angles that she really, 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 really had nothing to do with it. Nobody gives a fuck about how honest she was. Let's keep it real. All right. Now, there's been a lot of headlines about her and her smiling in court. Let me let y'all see it for yourself.
Okay. All right. So that's good. I'm going to go ahead and excuse Mr. Jimenez at this time. So we still have one alternate left.
And Judge, there is one other thing. Some of the witnesses that are going to be testifying, which includes victims and eyewitnesses to the case, they do have concern about their image being broadcast, concerns for their safety, and would ask that their face not be shown.
Well, you need to tell me who they are when they're about ready to testify. Okay.
Yes, Judge.
Okay. All right. Let's bring Mr. Jimenez in.
The laughing.
And I'm also hearing
and then you saw the lawyer dip down, and he smiled with her as well. It was real brief, but he dipped down and smiled with her briefly too.
This morning, when they were reporting about opening statements, I think they reran an interview with Mr. Malcolm and Mr.
She's still smiling,
talking about the evidence.
laughing a little bit. As court is in session.
Fox 13 this morning aired your interview. I just have concerns that
All right, I could take this down. I'm gonna go to one more for y'all, and I got 2 takes for y'all on this.
Had come into contact with that motor vehicle, that there was an individual still inside of it, a deceased individual.
Correct.
Okay. Do you see him there in the photograph, or at least
Little
his
legs?
one?
That was a little one.
You had come into contact with that motor vehicle,
anyone?
That there was an individual still inside of it, a deceased individual.
Correct.
Okay. You
Tiny one there, tiny one. Okay. I'm gonna tell you where I'm at with that. two things. So the first one, the internet, it sucks to be you, Shorty, because having these charges on you, these little clips that go around, these titles that are gonna go around, it's gonna make you look like the devil. I'm gonna keep it 1,000. The internet is blowing that way off proportion, I believe. Even seeing that she was responding to an obvious joke or sarcasm that her own lawyer was saying to her in the first video, he bows down, his face comes into the camera, he's smiling too. That second one, though, it's just her on her own as she's listening to the prosecution, it sounds like. So the two issues there is number one, actually, both of them, I have the problem with the lawyer. I'm gonna keep it 1,000. The first one is knowing your surroundings, knowing that these cameras are running, knowing that this is a publicized cameras allowed in court trial, and the footage is coming out and it's going out. Okay. And you have this thing called the court of public opinion. You, as a lawyer, the last thing you should be doing is telling a joke to your client in court underneath those circumstances with these cameras running, etc., and people looking and watching, because look what just happened to her. And she was responding to her own lawyer in that first video. Now, the second one, I also blame the lawyers. Why? Because maybe her natural reaction to hearing, like, let's say, something that you think is bullshit. We all do that. When I hear bullshit, there's times with that it makes me laugh. Where I'll be like, yo, this motherfucker, B. You know what I'm saying? But I blame the lawyer there because were you prepped? Were you told? Like, I know this isn't going to be easy, but when you hear things that you think are a lie, when you hear things that you think are outlandish, when you hear things that you disagree with, don't put your head down. Don't put your head up. Don't smile. Don't move too much, because body language, this is all pieces of the jury is hearing this shit and they're also looking at you. All of it comes into play. And a good lawyer preps you for your depositions, for your interrogations, for your lines of questioning, for your court appearances. A good lawyer preps you for these things and says, we're going to wear our hair like this. We're going to wear these type of colors. It all matters, people. We're going to wear these type of colors, neutral colors, solids colors, this type of dress clothes, maybe a sports jacket or a blouse or something. Nothing sexualized, cover up, no cleavage out, maybe your hair back, put on a pair of glasses like Queso. Oh, we does this around here. This is the type of image that you need to keep, and your lawyer's supposed to guide you into this shit. So when you're Diddy and Cassie's up there saying, yo, he dragged me down the stairs allegedly, and Diddy's supposed to be like this, and the jury they don't have anything to get from you. They just only have to get from the trial. Okay. So I got an issue with the lawyers for both of those scenarios right there. Doesn't mean that she's excusable there, but all right, let's keep going. More witnesses on the stand. Before we get to some of the bigger pieces, I just want to cover some of these smaller bases. Foolio's cousin, who was in the car with him when the shooting happened, couldn't stop his tears while describing his last moments.
I swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, Bill.
Okay.
Damn.
So you fell asleep after that, after he came back to the car, or you started dozing?
Yes.
Can you just tell the jurors what you saw inside of the car at that point? You said you saw Foolio laid out.
Yeah, first thing I saw Julio laid up. I thought it was a car until I looked up, saw the hose, and I saw Zay covered in blood yelling.
Okay. So you thought it was a car accident, and then you looked up, saw the bullet holes, and you saw Zay. Is that Xavier Edwards?
Yes.
You saw him covered in.
Yes.
Okay. So he wanted you to look at his head because he thought he had been hit. And then when you tried to do that, you saw this hole in your arm?
Yes.
Where were you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Close to my soul.
Do you still have a scar from that gun wound?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recognize that as Charles Jones' black Charger?
Yes.
Okay. You okay?
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Bill.
Okay.
That is not good for her or the other suspects, man. To have a witness up there that's in the car allegedly with Foolio the night of shooting that also took a bullet, up there crying and weeping like that, having to relive it. Boy, oh boy. Now we know Fulio is far from an angel, but that's not what's on trial right now. What's on trial is the shooters and the people that were allegedly connected to setting up the shooting. That is not good, B, because it creates it sparks emotion in the jury. Y'all want a quick reference? You want to hear about how emotion comes into play and works? Time to Kill. Samuel L. Jackson. He made the whole court cry. The whole court cried, B. Shit, I might have cried the first time I saw that scene. Real shit. And it's a movie. I might have cried the first time. That shit might have came into my eyes too. Like, oh shit, nigga. It said, now open your eyes and picture she was white. I said, oh, best lawyer ever. Real shit. All right, man. One more piece, and then we're gonna get into the bigger segments of this. Camera footage, man. Oh, alleged Fulio shooter seen cleaning the getaway car at his grandmother's house right after the hit.
This is Mr. Gathright arriving at his grandmother's house in Opal Avenue in Auburndale. You're going to see him walk in. You see the Chevy Impala, the assault car, sitting in the driveway. Law enforcement go there later. They get this video of Mr. Gathright switching cars. You're going to see him wiping down the Impala before he leaves. This is Mr. Gathright arriving at his grandmother's house in
The type of evidence that you don't even think about. Like, imagine being an alleged suspect and you committed the deed, you got away. Now, the deed happened at night, right? This is clearly in the day. And imagine, like, you pull up or you get back hours away to your crib or whatever, right? You got your car in your driveway and you feel like we got away. You know, you're watching the news, you're checking some of these crime apps. You don't hear that the news is reporting that they have any suspects. You're looking at the video footage and you're saying, I think we're not caught on no camera. We think we're okay. And now just 3, 4, 5 hours away, you just walking up on your car and wiping it down on somebody else's Ring camera comes into court. People, how many times do we say all year long covering some of these scenarios, like we be thinking that these people are stupid? This is evidence that they went and grabbed that's hours away from the shooting location to tie in. That is spooky shit. These people, they know how to do their job when they're doing detective investigation work. All right. Here we go now with the actual shooting breakdown. I believe this is the prosecution side. All right, let's walk.
This is Mr. Jones arriving. He's been out celebrating. You'll find in the evidence. That is Mr. Jones with that open passenger door. The vapor you're seeing is coming out of the hotel. That's some type of a dryer vent. Mr. Jones in a red stocking cap pulling up his shorts. He walks in the hotel. As you can see on the timestamp, which is slightly off by a few minutes, this is about 4:30 in the morning. They had been out through the night. They had gone to a couple of clubs. Mr. Jones appeared at one club and performed, and then he went to an after party at another club. He had attempted to make a reservation here, but because they appeared so late, it had been given away. You'll see him come back and get into his car. Video slightly sped up here. That car entering right there, that's the assault team.
assault team.
And as I said, they go northbound around the north side. They avoid driving near this entourage, Mr. Jones and his friends.
It's like laying out
This Nissan
stalking.
Altima that's pulling up is part of the entourage that was with Mr. Jones. The driver, Tafa McCrae, is a friend of his. You will see his girlfriend get out. And they go inside of the lobby to use the restroom.
They're even laying out stalking tactics of the actual assault car. Wow.
So Tafa and his girlfriend, Aaliyah Albritton, they walk in to the lobby, and they're actually inside there in the bathroom when the shooting happens. Now, you probably didn't see it, but when Tafa got out of the driver's seat of that Nissan Altima, Camilla Bentley slid right in behind him. That's another friend of Mr. Jones and friends with these folks. She's sitting in that car at the time of the shooting. She takes a round through the arm. This car driving by, that is the spotter car. That is the surveillance and reconnaissance vehicle. This is just before the shooting happens. And you're going to see that car come right back by.
Scary, man. It spin around. Yep. Wow.
It goes down, does a 3-point U-turn, and comes back.
Wow.
And now we're mere seconds away from the attack on the Charger, on the attack on Mr. Jones. You'll see the Chevy Cruze go southbound on McKinley. Down to the lower left, you saw the shooter with the automatic Glock. That's him in the lower part of the photo. So you see in this video, Xavier Edwards desperately trying to get them out of harm's way. But what he didn't know was that up on the top of that screen between that, I think it's a Mercedes and that yellow car, was the third shooter. So what he ended up doing was driving and you'll see it come to fruition here, directly into a vortex of high-powered rifle fire.
That's cross shooting, though, right? They could have hit each other, no?
Now, what you're also going to find in the evidence, and you can see the electrical charging station up here in the upper right, this is the edge of a Tesla that's sitting at another Charger. That Tesla has its, I believe it's called Centurion function on, and it is recording from multiple cameras around the car. And this is one of the recordings. You'll see several in the evidence that picks up the third shooter running down behind that row of cars and taking up position by that yellow car. He is the shooter on the other side of the street that forms that deadly vortex of fire as the Charger goes by. And as the Charger, you will see in the evidence, runs down the side trying to escape down the side of the hotel, this shooter comes running up to this position by the charging station and is opening up fire down the west side facing north of the Home to Suites. That is the headlights of the Charger fleeing up the west side of the hotel, heading north.
Damn.
The third shooter. That's the Charger at the impound lot at the Tampa Police Department. You can see the impacts. Every one of those yellow stickers on the hood, the side, and the windshield are all impacts. That's the Altima that Camilla Bentley was sitting in. It took 2 rounds to the back window. This is Xavier Edwards, who was the driver of the Charger. That's him at the hospital. Gino Norris, Mr. Jones' friend, who was in the back seat. He was shot in the upper right arm. And Camilla Bentley, who was shot in the upper arm.
So
These were
4
the other
people
party
got hit.
goers. Armani Turner is Mr. Jones' girlfriend at the time. Miss Randolph, her friend. Robert Howard is an associate friend of Mr. Jones, who was in the car behind the Charger, which was a Hyundai. Tafa McCray and Aaliyah were the ones in the Altima. You could see in that video that these gunmen acted with suddenness, they acted with speed and fury, and they brought overwhelming firepower. Not one shooter, not two shooters, but three to create that vortex that the evidence proves to you, with high-powered AR-style rifles and a fully automatic Glock 19, bringing all of that firepower to bear in a concentrated area easily, and rapidly, establishing not fire superiority, but fire supremacy, the evidence will show.
Damn, even the Glock, they have fully auto switched out. Shit. I mean, we saw the footage before, but to hear the prosecution break down the actual details of the tracking car, doubling back, spinning, ID, because if you're gonna pull all 3 of those shooters out and get to wetting shit up, because you know the cars that you're tracking, you know, are your targets in the cars though, you know, and it's just like all Foolio needed to do was just get out that car, and I don't know. Sitting in cars just continues to prove how dangerous it is, man. All right, let's look at some of her opening defense. And then we're going to get to the chat and ask, is she cooked or not? All right, let's go.
There are a few things that you should keep in mind throughout this trial. One, on the weekend, Charles Jones was killed. Alicia Andrews was on a weekend trip with her boyfriend with only one agenda: to be with her boyfriend. Two, Alicia Andrews is not in a gang. Three, with the exception of her boyfriend, Alicia Andrews did not know any of those men in that group, and none of those men in that group knew Alicia Andrews. As a matter of fact, if there was some conspiracy, Alicia Andrews was not in the loop because she was not in the group. Four, Alicia Andrews.
I had to pause that one. I'm sorry. He tried to drop a little ball. If the glove don't fit, you must have quit. Did she say did he really just try? She's not in the loop because she's not in the group. He tried to get one of those balls off. All right. If the glove don't fit, you must. Oh, say word. You just try to sneak that in. I got you.
Andrews is not a part of the drill rap culture, nor the drill rap scene. 5, Alicia Andrews did not have any physical evidence on any weapon displayed by the state. You would not find DNA, fingerprints, no physical evidence whatsoever linking Alicia Andrews to this case. 6, Alicia
Her
Andrews
location
did not have a motive. In other words, there is no evidence whatsoever to support this case of conspiracy or first-degree murder against Alicia Andrews. I'm sure you're wondering, if there's no evidence against Alicia Andrews, then why are we here? We're here because of the perception of the facts of one man, Detective Juan Ramos. But ladies and gentlemen of the jury, perception is not reality. Detective Juan Ramos is the lead detective on this case. Let me tell you a bit about him. Detective Juan Ramos had only worked homicide for about 4 months when he got this case. Became a homicide detective in February.
Nigga attacked the detective saying that nigga's an amateur. Let's see if this worked though.
This murder happened in June. his first time as a lead detective on the case, and he lands perhaps one of the biggest homicide cases that the Tampa Police Department has seen in a while. Not by any merit, not by.
I ain't gonna lie, it is an angle to use. It's definitely an angle. Let's keep it real. But I'm not big on it being his primary angle that he's actually expanding on. Everything else that he was just 1, 2, 3, 4. But the one that he sits to lay on for the opening defense is the angle of, now it's one thing if you're trying to prove that the detective is corrupt. And I know I'm skipping because I didn't watch all this yet, people. I just pulled it up. I skimmed the beginning. I said, all right, we're going to do it live. But regardless of what he's about to say, if we're going in the route of the actual detective that ran or led the investigation, I want to hear corruption and shit. I want to hear like, yo, he has a past history of putting drugs on people and lying. He was caught on a body cam footage doing something dirty. He was suspended from the force before. I want to hear that type shit. I don't know if I want to hear you give me as a juror your biggest angle in your opening defense statement is this guy has been on this particular force for 4 months, yet he's landing a high profile shooting case. Is he qualified to be on the case, period, 4 months or not? Like, I don't know. Like I watched a lot of NBA players come into their rookie seasons and dominate. Like, it's like, is that a good enough comparison for y'all? I don't know. I don't know about that. Like, let's hear him out.
Something he did to deserve it. Simply luck of the draw. The Tampa Police Department handles 40 to 60 homicides a year. They put their detectives in rotation. And so, luck of the draw, Detective Ramos gets this case. He shows up to the scene, speaks to a couple of his fellow officers, and begins to talk to witnesses, gathers some information about evidence and what have you. But his first big break in the case came when he got some intel from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office advised him that perhaps a man named Rashad Murphy and a man named Isaiah Chance might have something to do with this homicide.
A tip, okay.
His second big break came when he ran a bullet through, and I say a bullet. The ATF gathered 30 of the.
Be clear, chat. We're on the jury. We're on the jury right now. Okay, we're making up the jury right now, people. That first one did nothing for me. It did shit for me. His first break was getting a call that this person and this person were potential suspects. It's called a tip. The fucking law enforcement puts out these 1-800 numbers and Crime Stopper numbers. They even do TV shows, America's Top Most Wanted, FBI Top 10, because they're looking for tips. They're looking for information. They're looking for help. They're looking for cooperators. They give out rewards, all types of shit. His first shit was a dud for me right there. Maybe it's just me. We're on the jury right now, though, people. Come on.
31 bullets left. He had one bullet. Look at the draw. Ran this one bullet through their system that kind of
ballistics.
Casing, not a
ballistics.
Shell casing. It has a fingerprint. Once the firing pin strikes the casing, it leaves like a fingerprint, a distinct marking. He gets a hit that alerts him
spinning
to the fact that there were other fingerprints matching 5 shootings in Jacksonville prior. So now he
just mixed a gun mechanic type of fingerprint that's talking like a technicality versus like a physical human fingerprint. Did he just mix those two?
Idea that the shooters might have come from Jacksonville. After that, he proceeds to gather intel like information from license plate readers. Then he starts looking at cell phone data records.
Sounds like he's doing a good job to me.
To piece some other things together that leads him to a few spots in town. An Airbnb.
I'm trying.
McDonald's, a strip club called Teasers, and a club called Truth 18. And you saw some of the video footage. When Detective Ramos first gets this Airbnb video, he sees Alicia Andrews at the front door and surmises that because he sees no one else go in, Alicia Andrews must have let them in the back door. But perception is not reality. He sees Alicia Andrews at the McDonald's with no mask, and then sees her at the club, in the parking lot of the club Teasers with the mask, and surmises that she must have had the mask on to cover her face at Teasers because she didn't have a mask on at McDonald's. But perception is not reality. Again, he sees Alicia Andrews with her boyfriend at Club Truth 18 walking with the mask on, surmising once again because she didn't have a mask on at McDonald's, but did have a mask on as she walked towards the club. She attempted to conceal her identity with that mask at Truth 18. Ladies and gentlemen, perception.
What? Did I hear that right? Is he trying to use the parking lot, for example, of when she had a shiesty on versus when she's in McDonald's and she had it off? And the point that he's trying to make is that if she was really a suspect, she would have had it on in McDonald's? No. The other footage that we just watched of the guy that was wiping down his car, allegedly, did he have his shiesty on still? Why? Because you think you're in a place that's safe. There goes your 2-word bar. A place, or 3-word, a place that's safe. There you go. What the fuck? Yo, is it me? Is it me? These things getting cooked today on this stream. I ain't gonna lie to you. They can't buy with shit today. Yo,
is not reality. It's just some human decision.
and you see what he's trying to theme into the jury, our minds. The perception is not reality. That's his callback line. That's his, I'm going to keep drumming that. Perception, perception, perception. You perceive her to be a part of this because she was there. You perceive her because she's one of their girlfriends. You perceive her because she wore a shiesty at this point. You perceive her because she was in this car. But the reality is what I'm trying to tell you. Do y'all think I would do a decent job being a lawyer? Am I in the wrong business? If I was a lawyer, would you hire me? Or would y'all be like, nah, get that internet YouTube lawyer shit out of here, ARP. I'm calling the pros. Would you hire me? Could I get a job? Could I get a small job from some of y'all? Not no murder Julio shooting case, of course. I'd be scared of that shit too. It does take a lot of experience, but if I was starting out, could I get like a little proving why the kid got slapped at the schoolyard or not? Could I get that? Could y'all hire me for that? If I go past the bar, can I get some jobs out there? If I put out a business card, would y'all help me out, get some jobs? Or nah, sir, you cooking? All right, thank you. Nah, ARP, you my ninja though. Respect. All right, so that's like a yes and a no. Okay, I'll take that. Before I pull anybody else out there, I'm gonna leave my stats strong, 50%. Fuck it.
Reality, however, is immovable. And we're going to talk about Alicia's reality in just a moment when I tell you what really happened. But with all of this intelligence, all of this assumption, all of this surmise, Detective Juan Ramos goes and gets Alicia Andrews and brings her into an interrogation room. And he begins to present to her what he calls evidence and tell her what his perception of the evidence is, as if it is reality. Well, it's simply not.
You're fucking bombing on me again. First of all, in interrogation rooms, detectives are even supposed to lie. Well, I shouldn't say supposed to, but we know that they lie to you, right? They will coax you. They will alley-oop you. They will get you to admit shit. They'll try to speak for you, right? Prosecutors, we're going to actually see some of that. Prosecutors, lawyers do that as well. How about this one? I just want to let you know, you should cut a deal for yourself because the other people are talking. And what if they're lying? Shit, in The Wire, they fooled the kid by my bad. In The Wire, they fooled the kid into thinking that his boy was cooperating with him. They used a copy machine to act like it was like a lie detector test, and then they had him walk by his homie's cell in the midst of him eating, and he was like, I ain't got nothing to say to y'all. And they still bought him food. And the moment he started eating, they walked his other co-defendant by and pit them against each other. I didn't make that one up. Like, art imitates reality, right? This guy keeps saying reality, reality, reality. Reality is detectives try to set you the fuck up. So they're not supposed to come in there with what they're going to try to bait you into telling on yourself or signing this shit or admit to it. How about this angle? The one of listen, we know what happened, and you can do yourself a favor by telling your truth. How about that one? Tell your truth. Tell your side of the truth. And people are sitting there, the defendant or the suspect sitting there thinking like, is that going to help me? And what that really is your omission to guilt. Like, this guy's trying to go at the detective, especially for tactics that are common. It don't work with me. I don't know about the jurors. It don't work with me.
Really happened in this case is Alicia Andrews was on a weekend trip with her boyfriend, ex-boyfriend. But before we talk about the trip, let me tell you a little bit about Alicia. Alicia, high school graduate, did really well in school, well enough to apply to college and get accepted at Bethune-Cookman University.
Yes, come on up.
No, ain't no coming on up. We're leaving it there. I just wanted to hear his opening statement with y'all. All right, let's go to his second lawyer, or her second lawyer, the one that it seems, I'll say allegedly, was responsible for her laughing and creating all these headlines about her laughing in court and looking like a demon now across social media.
Charles Jones, just for the jury, is a part of 6 Block. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And Young and Ace is a part of ATK. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And to your knowledge, Alicia Andrews is not a part of either of those gangs, correct?
I don't know. I don't know her.
All right.
He had his head down for that one. Did y'all catch that? All right. That's what I mean. And we just crossed that by accident in our last take. Lawyers, prosecutors, defense attorneys, they'll do that. And to your knowledge, she's not part of a gang, right? And the witness on the stand gave the right answer. I don't know. I don't know her. But he wanted her to say either yes or no. You know, like he really wanted to know because that's one of the defense attorneys. I don't fuck with the 2 lawyers at this point. One of them got her in trouble going around social media for laughing, telling a fucking joke when the cameras is running. You know what I'm saying? And I'll pull up this little clip right here. Now, I know that this doesn't tell the full tale of all the shit that they might be talking about and doing a decent job in the whole day one. I just don't like the highlights. And looking into that whole open statement from the other lawyer, if that's your biggest angle, number one, reality versus perception and going at the detective that ran the investigation, unless you got dirt on him. Yeah, if you ask me now, it's early, but if you ask me if she cooked, she turned down a plea for 18 years, I believe. She's facing life. So they came at her with 18 and she looked at that and said, nigga, that is my life. I'm good. I'm gonna go to trial. That's her right. This don't look good so far. This don't look good so far. And boy, when we get to that little Dirk trial, because the details that they start to show that we don't know about, like, oh, this is him 5 hours away, wiping down the car 3 days later. That's when I'm telling you, we're gonna see shit for the first time in that Dirk case. We're gonna be like, oh shit. But this right here for Julio Foolio, early assessment based on the lawyers, based on some of the early evidence and the breakdowns, and obviously the detective work that's already been brought about during the investigation. You're looking kind of cooked. Early assessment. I ain't gonna do too much. We'll get to the next round of updates, and we'll go from there. All right. Hour 20 in. Felt like a good stream today. Like I said, I like the pace. I enjoy pace like that. It's not even 7:30 in the morning, and we can get the fuck up out of here, right? Drop me a comment, drop me feedback. Hit me up on Twitter, people. Give me your feedback there. I reply to almost everybody, as much as people as possible on Twitter. Please reserve the DMs. I can't get through all my DMs on IG. Definitely follow your boy on IG. Keep up to speed on IG, but don't DM me like feedback, like daily feedback there. I just can't keep up there. Tweet me that, and I'll respond to you on Twitter. As for checks and balances, please continue to keep up the great work. I appreciate y'all. As for the members, you already know it's gangrene for life. As for the whole chat, I even appreciate y'all today. I seen a bunch of shit going in the chat that we was able to bring up today to add to today's visuals. So great job, everybody. Now let's stop being lawyers for the day and get the fuck on to our real jobs. All right. I'll catch y'all tomorrow morning.
Don't confuse silence with work ethic. I'm a boss making decisions, my first fetish. The verse cherished is perfect, that's a reverse blemish. I dropped it, connected the block, learn Tetris.
This is the Sorry It's True podcast. Welcome to the house up. And shout out to the members.
Without my thing, still got a gun.